Cage Minds, Micah Frankel. We got Nick Urso with us ahead of RFA 44 on September 30th out in St. Louis area. How you feeling, sir?
Feel good, man. It's good to see you.
Is it nice to get somewhat of a higher profile show calling your name finally?
Yeah, you know, it's nice. The Jackson series is always good, but it's not televised and rarely is it streamed, so it's almost like sometimes it didn't even happen.
And then, you know, with RFA, it's one of those feeder leagues. It's known for that. They put guys in the UFC. Obviously, that's where you want to be, so how happy are you at least to get this jump up in challenge?
Right, yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's a great show. You know, it's going to be on Access TV. RFA's proven to, you know, give the UFC a lot of top-level guys, so yeah, it's a good opportunity. I'm glad to be a part of it.
And as you're here getting ready for the fight, you're also sitting down watching the tough season that's going on in your weight class. So what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that I should be on it. All those guys, a lot of those guys are legit champs. Some of those guys got some bogus ass belt, and all of a sudden they're champs. But yeah, it's a good show. It's good to see the flyweight division getting some love. I just watched the last one was Damasio. Thought he got screwed in that stoppage, but yeah, it's good to see the flyweights getting some attention.
Were you like me watching that and you were really mad until Damasio lifts up that broken hand and you're like, well, he kind of would have been screwed out of the competition anyway, so I guess it's for naught.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I guess, yeah, it sucks his hand's jacked up, but I don't know, you would like to see the fight play out how it should have, you know. Win, lose, or draw. I still thought the stoppage was a little early.
So does this give you more light at the end of the tunnel? Hey, look, the flyweights are getting more love, we're getting more respect, and they might grow the division.
Yeah, you know, I feel like I was super invested on what happened with the division, and it's been so like up and down. Like I thought I was going to be on the show, so I had gotten a call from people at the Ultimate Fighter. You know, we're doing flyweight division. You know, come to the tryouts because I had tried out for the 135-pound season. I made it real far, and they're like, you know, we think you're a bit small for the division. So you know, I bought a plane ticket. I had a hotel, and that all blew up. So now I don't invest too much emotional value into the division. I just let it unfold like it should, and man, the flyweight division's the most technical division in the sport, so the division will handle it itself.
What do you think of the premise of it, that they might find a guy that's going to challenge Demetrius? It's a little laughable thing. Yeah. Somebody that wasn't in there could come in and defeat the champion.
Well, you can't go from somebody that's unstoppable, undefeatable, you know, best pound for pound, then all of a sudden like, oh, this guy might be able to beat him, this guy might be able to beat him. You could pick 20 dudes anywhere and say they might be able to beat him, but are they? I mean, I guess we'll find out. Do I think any of those guys on the show have what it takes to beat him? Maybe a couple of them have some, you know, potential, but he's just on another level right now compared to those guys.
So looking at it, the RFA champions up there, possibly then a vacant title or something like that coming down the reins. Has that been a thought on your mind, maybe getting that RFA belt?
Yeah, you know, I definitely wouldn't mind having a belt, but it's just one thing at a time. You know, I just focus on this fight. Whatever happens from here happens from there. I really want to be in the UFC. You know, I'm about to be 31. I'm not trying to fight in just random shows throughout, but it's nice to be with RFA. You know, I fought for Legacy, Jackson's, and now RFA. I'd say they're probably the best 3 shows outside of the UFC. So,
Ken Porter, the opponent. Did you know about him or know of him before you got the contract?
Never heard of him. I don't really do too much research on just random people in my division. You know, I know the local scene and I know people that are, you know, higher profile, you know, on the bigger show. But yeah, you know, I never heard of him. Ricky called me and said, we got to fight for you in RFA, you want? And I said, yeah, I didn't even know who the opponent was. So,
what have you learned about him since that?
Just another flyweight. I mean, they're all pretty much very similar. They're just bodies, man. They wrestle and they kickbox. I mean, there's nothing crazy dynamic about anyone. I don't know, man. I don't really give a shit about the opponent anymore. It's just whatever. It's just another person.
Is this kind of little negativity that's coming out of you? This is all this breeding, this, you know, determination, this feeling that you should be in the UFC, having some of these higher profile fights?
You know, just throughout my life, people kind of say I'm a pessimist, but I just keep it real, and say what I think, and just how I am. You know, yeah, it's frustrating, but you know, the sport's frustrating. You just gotta roll with it, man. Life's a trip. I'm just along for the ride.
Everything's frustrating, and sadly enough, there's like a YouTube video with like 100,000 views from MMA fighting. For you just to relive your frustration.
Check it out, all elbows. My people right here.
Just to relive your frustration all the time of the last fight. So how long did it take to get past
you know,
the debacle?
Yeah, I mean, it was such a shit show. It was a disaster. it made me realize that I'm just not fighting on shows that aren't, or for what do I want, commissions that are just, in my opinion, not up to the standard. But unfortunately, I feel like most commissions aren't up to standard. There's a lot of really good refs, a lot of really good judges, but it's still so like splotchy. There's no consistency, and that's the frustrating part. You know, my opponent, I mean, he chose if you want to be a pussy, you're gonna be a pussy regardless if it's me or somebody else. In my world, if you talk shit and you want to fight somebody and you call them out, you're in there to fucking die. And that's how I look at it. And when you got a window to get the fuck out of there, you didn't want to be in there in the first place. So, I mean, it is what it is. I got no ill will towards the situation anymore. I mean, I was bitter. Obviously, saw in the video, I was fucking pissed. But sorry about the language.
That's okay.
Yeah,
it's on the internet.
Yeah. My dad yelled at me. He's like, you need to tone it down with the vulgarity. I'm like, yeah, no, I should work on that. But I'm blowing it right now.
Greg Jackson had to talk you off a wall in that video, trying to tell you all the positive things.
Yeah.
Were you able to look back at some of these clips, see the fight, and take away those positives? What you did well, where you improved on it?
Yeah, you know, everything's a learning experience. You learn from every situation you're in, good, bad, or indifferent. So you just got to roll with the punches, per se. And next time I'm in that position, I'm going to choke the life out of them and not punch them. And then that way they got nothing to say about anything.
Next Saturday, next Friday, what's the message for the fans that are going to be watching on Access TV?
Man, just check me out. You know, every time I fight, I come to bring it. I put on a good show. I'm exciting. You know, I'm not there to just score points. I'm there to, you know, fight and put a finish on it. So check me out, RFA 44, Access TV.
And we're still going with Nick Urso is learning to control those emotions a little bit. We know that's going to
you know, I mean, the emotions are hard to control. You just got to learn to roll with them and channel them in a positive light. So yeah, I guess that'll be a work in progress throughout my whole life. And I think everybody, it's just sometimes you gotta open your eyes and see what's what and just take it for what it's worth.
We wouldn't love you as Nick if you weren't Nick.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it is what it is. I am who I am, and I don't fake it. So.
Been out to St. Louis before for a fight?
No, I haven't. No, this will be the first time. But I'm near my Chicago people. You know, Chicago is where I was born. I lived there for half my life, and then, you know, I was just out there for another year and a half. It's only a few hour drive, so I got my family coming out. I got some good support showing up, and go Cubs.
Thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you.